It's time. Oh my days, this is very high pitch that they usually make do it in. That it's time. Well, it's that time of the year where we're going to start seeing new year, new me, cutting off fake friends. And honestly, I don't think I have an issue with it because I don't think it's normal to go into a new year with the previous year's strategies. You got to implement, you got to bring out new things, and you got to look for a way to make it work. But I'm not going to be here today telling you to cut off all your fake friends. If you've cut them off, that's fine. If you've not cut them off, well, what are you waiting for? But today's episode is going to be something that I've planned, something that I've started implementing in my life, and I really intend on taking it full scale in 2024. You know, um, like I said, new year, new me, new year, new everything. And honestly, I think it's beautiful to have, that kind of certainty or that to make that kind of decision. But it's a whole lot, we all make all these promises and we realize that a few months into the new year, we're turning our backs on it and we've lost focus and we're no longer like, there's that drive is no longer there. I wouldn't want to say this is a motivational episode, but I think it's an episode that is going to put you in a right perspective on getting things done. I think I mentioned this earlier. I said that whatever I'm going to share now is something that I have been doing at least since October. I'm not going to say I have fully implemented it since October, but little bits and pieces I've been able to have them run with me. I've been able to have them as guiding principles, and I'm going to be sharing these 5 things with you. And I really do hope that in these 5 things, you also find yourself and you find that grace and that strength to make the most of not just 2024, but as long as you live. I don't know why I'm laughing. I'm sorry. So the first thing I've done is I have started finding my pace. All right, now what does it mean to find your pace? I think I'm going to just share a little story. I realized that immediately I broke my workouts into days, it became automatically easy for me to work out. So back then, I would say things like, oh, don't worry, once it's January, I'll start working out. Once it's February, I'll start working out. Once it's March, I'll start working out. And when that next month comes, if I don't work out that first day, first 2 days, or the first week, I realize that it's as good as not working out at all. Okay, because there's this kind of laziness that just takes over me and I don't work out that whole month. So I started doing something that was very simple. I'll tell myself, today is Monday, I'll work out today. And what I do is, if I say I want to work out by 7 p.m., I'll set alarm for 6:30, 6:40, 6:50, then 7 p.m. So I have like 3 or 4 alarms. And once I snooze it like twice, there's this, I don't know if I should call it the subconscious, there's just this kind of nature that tells me, okay, Shadi, you need to get this thing done, okay? You can't keep on snoozing these alarms. You need to get this thing done. Like, dust it now, all right? And most times, at the third time, I'm already dressing up, putting myself in that phase to work out. And indeed, you know what they say, third time's the charm. And since I made that decision, working out has been fun-filled for me, and I don't have any regrets doing it. So what am I saying what do I mean when I say find your pace? You need to know how to set targets for yourself. Are you the kind of person that you like daily targets, weekly target, monthly targets? Set your targets, set your timelines. Let them be reachable, let them be attainable. This whole thing about SMART, let it be specific, let it be measurable, let it be attainable. Abby, that's what the A is for. Some say there's a manual to life, and others say there isn't. But my philosophy is, whether there is a manual or not, you have to understand yourself very well. You just don't nod to every ideology. If you need to be like me to set 100 alarms, then please go ahead and do it. I have for anything I am doing, I have at least 4 alarms set for it. And over time, I'm no longer using these alarms to get the work done, because somewhere in my head I've programmed that 7 p.m. I'm working out. Somewhere in my head I've programmed that 9 p.m. I'm doing this assignment. All right, so just do what needs to be done. within the capacity that you can do it. All right. So, if you might say, oh, but Shade, if I set weekly targets, what about people that set daily targets? The very funny thing, once you keep on doing something over and over and over again, there's this need for you to grow. There's this need for you to enlarge your capacity. So if you're I always tell my sisters this. Let me give this very beautiful example. For my sisters and I, we had a very long ass time where we stopped working out after the lockdown. So when I started working out again, I noticed that I couldn't do my whole 1 hour, 30 minutes at a stretch. Doing 45 minutes was going to kill my body. Like I was going to be in so much pain. So what I started doing 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Now I can do a whole 1 hour stretch of working out, and I'm still very, very much on fire for it. All right. So you need to build your own capacity, and with time, or in time, you'll be able to grow. You'll be able to grow and do exactly what needs to be done. Finding your pace is very important. How best can you work? What is your best time to work? I have another colleague of mine that shared this theory with me. He said he has a theory of 1 hour work, 30 minutes pleasure. So he can work for 1 hour or 2 hours straight, and he gives himself 30 minutes, 15 to 30 minutes to walk around, gist here, gist there, do this, do that. And then the next 2 hours again, he's on the seat working. You need to just find your pace, what works for you. The second thing I'm going to say is be very selective. Now you see this one, I think this is one that you should really carry on your head. And I mean jealously guard every single thing that comes your way 2024 going upward. I'm going to share another story of mine. I noticed that I'm a very, very, I'm a guilt, I don't know how to call it, but I give based on guilt. So you could guilt trip me into anything. And just until October, I decided that if I'm going to say no, I would say no with my full chest. Now, let me just give you this very tiny bit. When I started saying no, it wasn't easy because I had to deal with a whole lot of self-convictions. I had to deal with this person's reaction to my no, but I stood by it. All right. Now, does this mean that I don't help people? No, it means I will no longer put myself in that point where helping anybody is detrimental to me. I'm not going to put, I think I'm going to share a lot of stories in this. I always tell my sisters something. If you want to give, give. Don't give people because one day I know you will give me too. All right. And I used to have that mentality. So whenever I give people something and they do something that really hurts me, I tell my sister, and I gave this person this and he did this to hurt me. That was to my own detriment. I wasn't being nice to myself because honestly, I didn't want to give, but I gave with the mindset that, one day. But now if I want to give, I give. If I don't want to give, I don't give. Do you get where I'm going to with this? The interesting fact is, the interesting thing is, giving is not a forceful thing. Giving is a thing of, you need to give from your heart. Like, I'm a Christian, I go to church, and that's one thing that they really emphasize on. All right, so if you're coming to church and you're trying to give your offerings, your tithe, your sacrifice, but you're grumbling, it's like you're giving dust, you're giving sand, you're giving dunk. So when your heart is very cheerful, once you're in that spirit of joyfulness, or that spirit of to give, and you give, if something happens and that person hurts you, you're human, don't get me wrong, it's going to hurt you. But you're not going to base everything on Shebi I gave you. Shebi sounds very weird, And I've just come to this very, very nice land where it's your personal problem. If I want to give you, I give. If I don't want to give you, I don't give you. All right, be very, very selective with your time, with your money, with your emotions, with your resources, and with everything that can be given. Don't let anybody guilt trip you next year. Don't let anybody guilt trip you anymore. If you can't do it, you can't do it. If you can't do it, you can't do it. If you can do it, but you're not able to do it, then let this person know. These are basic things. All right. Another thing about being selective is, know where your limits are. Because they go to the same church, the same mosques, you guys work in the same organization, you guys live in the same compound, it doesn't make you guys friends. It really doesn't make you guys friends. There's this very amazing portion I like in the Bible. It says where the sons of God gathered, Satan the accuser was also present. I think it's in Job 1 verse 6. So because you all are in the same, oh, we're gangs, we're circle, blah, blah, blah. It don't make it that close. It don't mean we're that close. All right, make sure that you're very selective. Make sure that you're very picky. All right, you can love somebody so dearly, and you're not going to give them that space to emotionally tamper with you. You're not going to let them destroy you emotionally, financially, and all around. All right, you could love somebody from a distance. You could love somebody and not let their actions be a detriment to you. I feel like these are things that I have really been living by or living with since October 2023. And like I told you guys, I have not been very, very faithful in it, but I have tried my best. And because I have been doing this for, a bit, and this December, it's been really consistent, I think I'm getting there. And 2024 is going to be a walkover with these things I'm giving you all. Our third point here is follow your highest spiritual being. I'm not going to mince words here, and I'm going to just tell you to follow your God, follow your chi, and follow him diligently. Now, why do I say so? Another personal experience coming up. So if you know me, I don't really enjoy human conversations. I'm a little bit shy. I'm a little bit antisocial, and it takes a whole river to make me talk. Now, until we get to a certain level in life, until I see you as a brother, did I just say a brother? Until I see you at a certain level in my life, I don't share certain things. I'm a very, 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 very reserved person. And so this means that a whole lot of times my brain is wired to have conversations just within myself. So I have conversations with myself. I have conversations. I literally, I don't know if it's a normal thing, but I literally have like various shades that I ask for help. All right. So I have come to have a few persons around me. Being the fact that I went to a secondary school, I went to the university, I had my NYSC days. I've come to have people that are always around me, so there's certain people I talk to every day, no matter what. And that's God, of course, myself, Shadi, my partner, my family, my partner, and, a few selected friends and my colleagues, but not every day. I mean, that's like once in a while work, I guess. And, out of everybody I've listed, the being I feel most comfortable sharing anything with is God. I went through an emotional crisis. I went through an emotional phase where I couldn't understand myself, where I did not feel like Shadi, where I hated myself. And the only way I knew how to get myself out of this was I said to myself, Shadi, you're going to spend at least 5 minutes every day with God. Now, this was not me trying to kabash. This was not me trying to ask God for money, ask God for cars. It wasn't that. It was me saying every morning I'm going to have at least 5 minutes or less with God. I'm going to trust him with my day. I'm going to trust him with myself. I'm going to trust him with my interactions with everybody. And honestly, this has made me a lot calmer. You could talk to my family. Because of how distant I was from other kind of human interaction, I had this very, very deep anger because I felt like nobody could understand me. But when I started incorporating God into my life, I understood that, okay, you could have conversations with other people and not really get pissed because they don't really understand you yet. All right. So it made me, talking to God made me calmer a whole lot. Is it calmer? I feel like I'm it made me to be calm. All right. So you need to first find that time to communicate with your God. The beautiful thing about this is the more you communicate with him, the more you grow with him. My partner and I do this thing where we talk and we just listen to each other every day. It's not about who has the cleanest accent. It's not about who has the best gist. It's about having somebody to genuinely pour out your heart to and know that that person is listening to you. All right. It has improved how best we understand each other. And I really think, that God is not so hard to decipher. If you have human conversations every day, it's the same way you have, sorry, it's basically the same way you have your conversations with God. And it's not very hard to decipher. The more you talk and listen, he talks too. Communication is a two-way movement. It's a two-way move. So if you're talking, you gotta wait. Let him talk too. All right. And he comforts me. He's always there for me. He makes me feel more loved than any other thing. Now, if you have not been on this train, if you've not had your spiritual level up, you really need to, because it's the most beautiful kind of intimacy any man or any woman can build. The fourth point here is you have to keep learning. Now, Martin Luther King said, the moment you stop learning, you start dying. And please, I am not talking about going to school. It doesn't necessarily mean go to school, get degrees or anything, but put your mind, it also adds, yeah, but you need to put your mind in a phase where you're constantly learning, you're constantly reading. This point covers every area: personal development, emotional development, relational development. I don't know if there's a thing like relational development, but I'm saying here the way you interact with people, you need to have improvements on that. All right. And at every point, you need to ensure that you're not wasting away. If it means you're reading one book every month, that's fine. Another person said you are the same person you were 10 years ago, except for the people you met and the books you read. Honestly, if you're like me and all you want is intentionality, then you must adhere to this. You must continually proof your circle. You must continually check your circle. You must continually read books. Let your mind be broadened. If it means listening to the news once in a while, you could take on podcasts, financial podcasts, spiritual podcasts, podcasts on relationships. Any area you're lacking in, it's a space to increase. It's a space to grow. Do not stop reading. Do not stop taking courses, whether they're physical or online. Do not stop learning. Don't be a 20-year-old without knowledge. Don't be an 80-year-old person with the knowledge of a 16-year-old person. Keep developing yourself until you leave the earth. Yeah, so keep learning and keep growing. Now, the last point we're going to be looking at is find your sanctuary. When I talk about sanctuary, my head goes to church. Yeah, but that's not what I mean here. Now, the term sanctuary was derived from the Latin word sancturanium. Rarium? Rarium? I don't know. Should I say Latin word? You can check Google. Which is often referred to a container for storage, safekeeping, a sacred place, and simply put, is a place of your peace. Right? So it's a place you can store certain things and know that they are kept properly, they are safe. I don't know where you're listening to this episode from. I'm in Lagos, so I deal with the hustle and bustle, going to work, coming back from work, dealing with staying with my family. But you need to still look for your sanctuary. Your sanctuary doesn't have to be when you stand up and leave your house and go to a coffee place. Your sanctuary could be your room. Your sanctuary could be your toilet. Your sanctuary could be your car. Your sanctuary could be a time where, early hours of the morning, late into the night, something, someplace, sometime. Just find it and hold it very dear to your heart. And all those things I mentioned, room, toilet, car, time, I've had those things as my sanctuary. There was a time where my brother's car was my sanctuary. There was a time where my mom's room was my sanctuary because there was a certain period of time that I had that room to myself. There are a whole lot of times that toilet has been my sanctuary, and I'm not going to go deep into that because I'm not going to tell you guys my secrets. Go and find your own sanctuary and live with it, okay? Oftentimes I hear people say that they have a prayer room, a room solely dedicated to communicating with their maker. And I've heard people who have offices in their homes, because they need a space to work outside the usual sitting room, bedroom, whatever. Your sanctuary doesn't have to be a place with beautiful aesthetics. Like I said, you don't have to stand up and go to a coffee place first before you realize you're in a sanctuary. Even if it is a timing, even if it's 3 o'clock to 3:30 in the morning is my sanctuary, it's still very fine. Just find it and keep it good for you, because remember, we are forever on an operation to ensure that our mental health is taken proper care of. And you can't deal with being mentally sound in hustles and bustles. You need to find time, you need to find space, you need to find an environment where you are allowed to offload, you are allowed to recharge. There's this movie I saw on Netflix, Wife Like, I think it's where they capture women, they turn them to like some robotic things, and they act exactly how you want them to act. So you're programming your wife to do exactly what you want her to do. So every night, your robot has to go sleep in her own room that has her own charger. All right, so she needs to recharge. That's what your sanctuary is for. Your sanctuary is your space to recharge. I mean, you're coming back from work where the conductor gave you a very heavy blow. You forgot the conductor ran away with your 800 naira change. You're really very tired. That's what your sanctuary is. Your sanctuary is to offload that whole negativity and breathe in that whatever happened today was totally out of my control, but I'm not going to let it determine how I react. Oh my days, I feel like I'm dropping bars. You guys, I'm a bar dropper, and those are the 5 things that I really want us to embrace. Finding your pace, being very selective. Following your spiritual being, learning, and finding your sanctuary. And as we round up, please note that you must first understand yourself well enough to know how the options that I've listed will work for you. There's a very popular saying, know thyself. So while we are even learning and unlearning in the course of next year, we must also learn ourselves. We must also know what we can take and what we can't take. I really, really hope that, this has been of immense help to everyone that has listened. It has helped me. And like I said, and I'm going to keep on saying, I've started implementing this since October 2023, which is just like 3 months ago, or 2 months, October, November, December. So that's like 2 months ago, I started implementing this. And like I said, I haven't had like a steady note on it, but I have grown with it. All right. And I really hope that you also take this and you grow with it. If you've enjoyed today's episode, please share with your friends, your families. I've been dealing with frenemies and your frenemies too. Together, we will grow when we share this podcast. I love you all, and I am signing out right now. I'm wishing you all long life, peace, and prosperity. And I do pray that Lord God grants also longevity. And again, is it Happy Christmas? I think Merry Christmas. Well, happy 25th of December 2023. I love you all so much. Bye, guys.